Welcome back, my students. Dr. Uwe here. We are studying the properties of a cardiac muscle. It's chapter 30 from Guyton. Clearly, its first learning objective is list the special anatomical and functional characteristics of a cardiac muscle. We studied the functional characteristics of the cardiac muscle in the previous 4 videos. Now, this video is specifically going to be about the anatomical characteristics of a cardiac muscle. No need to write anything. All the notes of this video are in the description of the lecture. Clear? So look right here, we have the histological diagram of a cardiac muscle. Clear? Now in this histological diagram, from this histological diagram, we will see the anatomical characteristics of a cardiac muscle. Look right here, this is a cardiac muscle cell, this is another cardiac muscle cell. This one cardiac muscle cell is connected to another cardiac muscle cell at this zigzag pattern. This pattern is called intercalated discs. This is called intercalated. So here is an intercalated disc, here is intercalated disc, here is intercalated disc. Clearly? So it is the junction between the two cardiac muscle cells. And at intercalated discs, we have three junctional complexes. Three complexes that join one cell to another cell. One is called the desmosomes, another is called adherent junctions, and the third is called the gap junctions. Clear? So this is the first intercalated disc, first anatomical feature. Now the theory part. So theory part, intercalated discs, it is one of the unique feature of the cardiac muscle, and it is the junction between the adjacent cardiac muscle cells. Clearly, it is zigzag in appearance, and it's made of three types of cell junctions. Those are desmosomes, adherent junctions, and gap junctions. Clear? So this is the first anatomical feature. Moving on to second anatomical feature, we can see here, this is right here is a cardiac muscle cell. It has a centrally nucleus. It has a centrally nucleus, and the shape of this nucleus is oval. The shape of this nucleus is oval. Clear? Third point, we have the branching cardiac muscle fiber. As you can see, here is the branching. This cardiac muscle cell branches. Here is the another branch. Here is the another branch. So cardiac muscle cell, they branch. They branch. Clearly. Another thing that we need to remember in cardiac muscle cell, in cardiac muscle, is that cardiac muscle is involuntary. Cardiac muscle is involuntary. Involuntary. Clearly? Involuntary, that means we cannot command it to do anything. Cardiac muscle functions on its own. Clearly? As we command our skeletal muscles to contract or to relax, but we cannot command our cardiac muscle to contract or relax. It functions on its own. Now the theory part of these points, cardiac muscle fibers are branched, as we saw in the histological diagram of the cardiac muscle. Guidance says cardiac muscle fibers are arranged in a latticework. Latticework means a crisscross pattern. Latticework means a crisscross pattern with fibers dividing. As we saw in the diagram, the fibers divide, they recombine as well, and they spread again, and they spread again. Third anatomical feature, nuclei are central. We saw the central placed nuclei. They are single and they are oval. The fourth anatomical feature, cardiac muscle is involuntary. We know it's involuntary, and it's only seen in the heart. Clearly, cardiac muscle is only seen in the heart. It is not seen anywhere else in the body. Now the last anatomical feature, it is a very important anatomical feature of the cardiac muscle, that is cardiac muscle is striated. Cardiac muscle is striated in the same manner as in skeletal muscle. It means cardiac muscle is striated like skeletal muscle. Now what does this striated mean? Clearly, striated means the cardiac muscle has stripes. What are these stripes made up of? These stripes are made up of actin and myosin filaments. That means in cardiac muscle there is regular arrangement of actin and myosin filaments, which gives it a striated appearance. As we have studied from the skeletal muscle physiology, I will repeat it. This striated, what does this striated mean? I will repeat it here. Look right here, we have clearly this right here, these are the actin. Clearly, and in between the actin we have myosin. So this right here in red color, this is the myosin. Clear? So this is myosin. Clear? This right here, these lines, this is called a Z line. This is another Z line. Clearly, in between two Z lines, two consecutive Z lines, that's called a sarcomere. Sarcomere, what is sarcomere? It is the line, it is the area between two consecutive Z lines. And sarcomere is the basic unit of muscle fiber. Basic unit of cardiac muscle fiber. Clearly? Now, this part right here, this I will show you with another pen. This part from here to here. Clearly? This part is called I band. This part is called I band because it is only formed it is only formed by actin filaments. It is not formed by the myosin filaments. So it's called I band. It's called I band. Clearly, it contains only actin. Clearly, now this part right here, this is called as A band. This is called A band. It is formed by the myosin and the overlapped actin filaments. And this part right here, which is only formed by the myosin, this part right here, it is called as the H band. It's called as the H band. And a line between two Z lines in center of it's called M line. It's called M line. So this right here, this presence of this A band, this presence of this I band, clearly A band, then I band, then A band, then I band. This alternate presence of actin and myosin filaments, the presence of A band and I band, it gives cardiac muscle a striated appearance. Clearly, I have here made the diagram. There is a A band, it's also called dark band. Then we have the I band, it's called light band. So there is alternative presence of A band, then I band, then A band, then I band. So this presence of dark and light bands gives cardiac muscle a striated appearance. As we can see from the histological diagram. So right here we have the dark band, then light band, then dark band, then light band. So this dark and light band, it gives cardiac muscle a striated appearance. Clearly, so we studied 5 anatomical characteristics. Number first is the presence of intercalated discs. Number second, we have the muscle fibers are branched. Number third, nuclei. Number fourth, cardiac muscle is involuntary. And number fifth, we have the cardiac muscle is striated. Clearly, the theory part in the theory part in striated cardiac muscle is that striations or stripes that appear in the cardiac muscle tissue due to the regular arrangement of the actin and myosin proteins when viewed under the microscope. These actin and myosin filaments are also found similar pattern in the skeletal muscle. So skeletal muscle are also striated. So this is the anatomical features. Thank you very much. Your Dr. Ugwe here. Keep revising, keep studying. Thank you very much.